and welcome back to the Colour Cave, where we like to play with art stuff. My name is Jem, and today we are going to have a bash at the June Scrawlrchallenge. And the prompt is ethereal entity, so something sort of magical or fantastical, that kind of thing. So we've got our 3 Derwent watercolour pencils in sort of more leaning towards earthy shades, I want to say. Well, terracotta is. So we've got black, terracotta and Prussian blue, and we also have these Jackman's pearlescent shimmer paints as well to do something with. Delighted to have the Sea White size 8 brush. Absolutely love these brushes. I use them all the time. So yeah, I had a little bit of a think about this, and I seem to have this urgency to want to rush this prompt. I don't know why, but I've got a little bit of an idea and I'm just going to go for it. I'm just going to go for it today. So I've just got an F pencil here, and that's just to do a light sketch. And I've also got a kneaded eraser just to light that up before we go into using the actual contents of the box. So I went through this whole phase of, you know, mermaids and demons and all this kind of stuff. None of that sat well with me, and nothing was really floating my boat, and I sketched and sketched and sketched to the point where I'd actually lost patience with myself. So the main feature that I want here is actually a pair of eyes, and to sort of capture that feeling of, you know, something that's not of this world. I'm not going to follow a structure for a face or anything like that. It's literally just going to be some eyes. But I'm thinking, my first thought was like a genie in the bottle kind of idea, because I think you could get some really nice sort of like smoke or mist effects. And we can mix some sort of purple because we've got this blue pencil. So that's kind of where I'm at with this. So I was thinking it's like a puff of smoke that's come up from nowhere. Maybe it's just, maybe somebody said some magic words. Yeah, you know the ones I'm talking about. It's basically just going to be a pair of eyes in a puff of smoke, but it's going to be magical, sparkly smoke. Okay, so I haven't decided whether this has a gender. All I know is that I want the eyes to be quite a big focus, but I'm actually going to do most of the work in this sort of puff of smoke, if you like, so this will be quite interesting. The smoke I kind of want to be a sort of pinky purpley colour, so I'm going to try and work with this watercolour pencil and the Troublemaker pink that we discussed in the unboxing. I think I'll stick with the green and the blue for the eyes because that's really going to make them stand out, and that leaves me the black and terracotta for maybe the horns. So we are using all the supplies, and then obviously we can add this silver where we see fit. I'm going to start under here, and I'm going to try this on the paper first. So I want it darker. There'll be some areas under here where I want it darker. I can't really explain what I've got going on in my head. I just have to kind of like do it. I know that's not great for a video, but I've got this image in my head and I'm not really sure whether it's going to translate onto paper. Now, I'm trying to go kind of quite loosely with this pencil, bearing in mind that we're going to be able to work it out with our water brush when we activate it. But what I do want to do is take my Troublemaker pink. I'm officially renaming this Troublemaker pink. Dilute this. I've just looked at this palette. Mr. Jem washed this for me, and that never looks as if it's been washed in its life. You had one job, Mr. Jem, one job. I don't know, you just can't get the staff these days. Yeah, I'm wanting to dilute a little bit of this pink, and we'll start with it like a really wishy-washy version of it, and we can build up the concentration of it as we go along. So I want to go really gently. Oh, look at my paintbrush is a pretty colour already. So I don't really know how this is going to go until I start. But there we go, we're getting that nice purpley colour already. So I'm thinking, like, you know, when this puff of smoke is going whoosh, like that. So we kind of want to keep our brush strokes in that vein. Now, I'm not really doing a very good job of mixing in this blue, but that might not be a bad thing. We are getting a nice purpley colour, which is good. Kind of looks a bit like a tree trunk, but that's okay. So there is a little bit of a shimmer on this, which is good. I did make sure that I gave that a good mix in the water before I started it. Again, I mentioned it briefly in the unboxing video that I think to get the most out of the pigment, you really need to make sure that you've agitated it because I do think that these shimmery pigments have a tendency to sink to the bottom, especially if they're in quite a heavy dilution. Okay, so we'll leave that to dry just now. Now, just still using the same colour. I'm going to leave this little part here just now, but I want to start getting in this sort of idea of this poof. So again, start with the very light dilution. And what I'm going to do is, because I've got these two eyes, I know I said I wasn't going to follow like a traditional shape, but what I was thinking was we could actually contour like a cheekbone area just out of these puffy parts, just to sort of help give that idea that there might be, you know, a little bit of a facial shape of some description. And then we've got our second whoosh in the middle here. So the other thing that I want to do is get a light wash of this terracotta down. So I'm going to take some off the pencil just with a wet brush. There we go, good enough. And just put in a very light base colour here, where these horns are. Now, if we make a start on these eyes, we want these to be fairly bold. So, but I'm going to try not to go too heavy with the pencil to begin with, just from this experience down here. Try and work out those pencil lines as much as possible, which, to be fair, isn't that successful at this moment. But what I do want to do is I'm going to keep layering this up so that we end up with some really vibrant pink in certain parts of it. And I'm going to mix myself some purple. Just the same thing again as I did with the terracotta a moment ago, and I'm just going to pull that off the pencil straight into this little well. Well. There we go, so we've got some blue in there, that's pretty good. Ooh. And maybe start accenting some of these lower areas of the clouds just with a little bit of the purple. And then just with a damp brush I can soften out the top edge of each of these strokes. And by letting it dry a little bit as well, it just means I'm going to get a bit of variation in how much it actually blends out, which could be quite nice. Oh, so many interruptions to the point where my purple paint's actually started to dry out. I'm having one of those days today, guys, where just nothing's going according to plan. Oh dear, I had my joiner here earlier who was he'd taken out one of my sash windows because it needed repairing, and he brought it back, so I had to stop filming while he was banging about putting it back in. Right, so I'm just building up some purple here on these lower sections, and I'm just going to keep building this up in layers until we've got quite a strong saturation, because I don't want this, although this is quite delicate, these paints are obviously really bright, so I want to retain some of that. And I'm pleased to say, by just mixing with my brush here before I'm lifting it, I am getting a lot more shimmer and sparkle, so my theory was correct from the unboxing, you know, talking about the pigment sinking to the bottom. And obviously we want shimmer because we've got a magical creature. Okay, I don't want to go too ham with this, so I'll leave that to dry and I'll see how it looks. But I think underneath here, I want to add a bit more of this blue. I'm not enjoying the texture of the pencil against the paper. Much as I enjoy texture, it's kind of screwing with me a bit. It's maybe just a little bit too textured for this. Now I'm not even going to bother cleaning my brush, but I'm just going to give this a bit of a rub. Need to reconstitute my pink, goodness me. Maybe mix up some more. Again, with a damp brush, just as this purple starts to dry, I just want to soften out some of those edges on the top part, you know, facing up the way. And the paint's really happy to redilute itself. Is that even correct terminology? I don't think so. Redilute itself, goodness me. So really erasing the top part of those brush strokes. Okay, so thinking about the eye area again, let's toddle back up here. I want to mix that teal colour that I managed to get in the unboxing video as well. So let's just abandon the pinky purples for a moment and see what we can do here. So again, just get this colour off the pencil. There we go, lovely jubbly. And then we can dip into some of this green, which I love this colour. Okay, better. It's almost the colour of my kitchen walls. I was very brave with my colour choice for kitchen walls. Okay, so again, just with what's on my brush, I'm going to dilute this down. There we go. So we've got a much more watery consistency, and I can still see plenty of shimmery pigment in there, which is great. I'm going to start adding this in here, and then just round this outside part, add some of the darker, and we'll just let that do its thing. We'll just pop some of this in here as well. Just want to see if I get on any better putting it in damp and then spreading it, just to see what happens. I just think that the texture of this paper is just a little bit too much for what I'm trying to achieve here. And it is blending out, but I'm having to add an awful lot of water, which in turn is actually diluting the colour out, which, yeah, it's not ideal. I mean, that's, yeah, I'm having to like scrub at that, like really scrub at it, which is what I was kind of trying to avoid, in all honesty. So yeah, there's that. I'm going to just add in a little bit of pencil here. So this is where the texture really is to my advantage. I have to say I'm experiencing a lot of buckling on this paper. It's if I just turn it over here, you might be able to see it in the light. It's pretty bad. It's making things a little bit difficult now, but I'm going to persevere. I'm going to keep going and see what we can do. I'm going to move up here to these horns, and I'm just going to sharpen this pencil. There we go. So I've got a nice pointy point on my terracotta pencil, and I'm hoping that I can get in some detail, but it is proving quite difficult on this paper, and I'm not even sure if I'll be able to blend this out. Just as I said with the blue pencil, it was kind of a struggle, if I'm honest. So we'll just have to see how we go with that. Okay. I'm so thankful for the tip on this paintbrush right now. Okay, it's not great. It's not great, but it's not terrible. I'm going to try and get a little bit of detail in here. It is easier with a sharper pencil, but the paper's really spongy now. I wanted a very defined line down here. Okay, so with this black pencil, now bearing in mind this has got a kind of like bluish tint to it. It's not that noticeable when you actually draw with it as a pencil, but it is very noticeable if you activate it with water. I just want to get a little bit of definition in there. Looks like a unicorn horn she's got. The thing. Okay, I'm really not happy with how these eyes are going. Just not really sure what to do with this, to be honest. Okay, I'm going to jump back down to the bottom for now, and in under here, on these darker purple bits where the kind of like whooshy part is, I want to put in some of this silver, but I think I'm going to dilute it first. This is actually split in the pot. That's not a problem though, paints like this split all the time, and it's usually to do with temperature. So we're not too concerned about that. I do believe, I have been told once or twice that these are vegan formula paints, so if that's something that's of interest to you, now you know. Let's just put in a little bit of this silver here. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Obviously it makes your painting better if you do the sound effects, that's a given, that's a given. And I want to use this in like a grey capacity, just in at the corner of these eye areas, because if you are a magical being, then why would you not have sparkly tear ducts? Just saying. Trying to find a place to put my hand. I can't find a decent spot. Oh, shiny. Shiny, shiny, shiny. Quite easy to get carried away with this silver paint. I'm like, yeah, put it everywhere. No, don't put it everywhere, guys. Don't do that. Okay. Hadn't decided exactly on this eye shape. I think I want to soften it out and round it out a little bit. I don't want it to be too cat eye-like, but okay, there we go. Now we're talking. Now we're talking. I think I might fill in this bottom highlight here. Not convinced at all. There we go. That's better. Now this pencil is not fading as well on top of the paint that's there as I'd hope. But I say it's all very fine and fair and well getting detail in, but if the paper is spongy after it's dry, that's a problem. Okay, that's kind of what I was hoping for the eye though, so now I just have to get the other one to match this one. So I really wanted those to stand out, and I can use this blue pencil. I've kind of got like an eyebrow thing going on here, but I want it to be like a cloudy eyebrow. So I'm just going to use the blue pencil over the top of this purple. And that's it. That's worked reasonably well. I've been working a lot more in paint in recent times, and it's funny how I still default back to pencil. you know, oh, old habits and all that. I just find like I crave definition, and it's purely a pencil thing. I'll try not to go too crazy with it though, because I don't want to kind of like upset the whole point of this exercise, which is obviously watercolour. This line's really harsh here. Brrr, come on. I would really like this eye to be a lot darker as well, you know, like black hole kind of dark. But if I activate this, then it'll go that sort of bluish tinge, which is what I don't want. So I'm just going to scrub away with this pencil. Well, there we go. That's a bit better. That's okay. That's more than a bit better. Nice. Nice. Okay. So this other eye area, it's getting a bit silly over there. Man, this paper's making this hard work. Jeez. Is this dry? Not really. Okay, I've got a major eye problem here. This eye is a lot darker in this teal area, so I'm just going to try and soften this out again. Oh dear. Okay, this is fairly dry down here. Okay, let's see how no, eyes are still not dry. Come on, eyes. You know you want to. So I don't know what this smirky line's suggesting, whether this being knows something that we don't, or not entirely sure, but I just felt it was a fitting expression. And I'm kind of wanting to outline this entire silver part now as well. Man, we got some funky makeup going on here today. Oh no, broke my pencil. So that's ruined my perfectly clean line. Yeah, I'm a bit disappointed at the ability to go back in with the pencil. As I say, I just feel as if it's as if the paper's just like had enough. It's like, nah, do you know what? I don't want to take anything else. That's just the kind of feeling I'm getting. I'm quite happy with the way these eyes are turning out though. In the grand scheme of things, I can't really complain. I can't decide whether this is friendly or not friendly. I feel as if there's like a bit of a sinister kind of smirkiness going on here, as if, you know, something bad's going to happen. I don't know, but I do think I want a bit more va-va-voom around here. I don't know, maybe it's friendly. I'd love to know your thoughts. You can let me know in the comments whether you think this might be a friendly creature or a not so friendly creature. As I say, I'm not entirely sure. I'm not convinced that this being can be trusted. And I don't know what it is, but that's just the feeling I've got. So if I tilt in the light, oh, we're shimmery all over. We're just shimmery all over. I kind of want as well, oh, so demandy. I kind of want this to be darker under her. I keep saying her. I don't know why I keep saying her. I tend to get quite strong feelings about the sex of my paintings, and I just feel like this is a her. Okay. I think I just want to add, I'm going to put the lids back on all these because they're going to dry out. These paints are nice. Am I absolutely overexcited about them? No. And funnily enough, while I've been doing this, I've been reading your comments from the unboxing videos, and someone had said that there's no such thing, I'm paraphrasing here, there's no such thing as a shimmery paint once you've used Julia Kay's paints. And that's kind of the way I'm feeling. Maybe I'm just being spoiled by having access to Julia's paints, but these, I mean, they're nice, they are nice. I find them quite awkward in this little pot format, and the lids are sticky, and yeah, and it's nice paint, it's nice to work with, I can say that for sure. Would I go out and buy more of these? Probably not. Are these going to go in the stash shop? Yes. yes they are. So these will be up in the stash shop on Sunday. I will clean them up a little bit and make sure the lids are on tight before I pass them on to anybody. But yeah, the green colour is my absolute favourite though. It's nice. I kind of wish I'd incorporated it a bit more into this. But, well, can't do everything right all of the time. Just going back to my blue pencil here, and I actually want to get a little bit adventurous, and I'm going to stick in some of this terracotta, if it'll let me. I see the paper's not right keen on taking anything else now. Okay, there's quite a lot of blue there, and I only want to add the tiniest, smidgiest bit of this pink. And using this very fine tip on this brush. I'm kind of regretting the decision for a mouth now as well. I kind of wish I hadn't given it a mouth. Oh, maybe we can make her look angry. Look. Oh. I think I'm going to stop there. This was a little bit of an odd prompt for me. I don't really deal in fantasy stuff. And, oh, it's me again. Although I've enjoyed myself, I do find these paints awkward. I find them awkward. They're very thick. The pots are a bit fiddly. And as I said earlier, there's just not quite enough shimmer there for me. Although you can see when I tilt that in the light, you can see it is shimmery. I would love to know your thoughts on all of this, and whether or not you've got plans for your Scrawler Challenge already, or whether you've done it. If you have done your Scrawler Challenge, tag me on Instagram, and I would love to see all your creations as well. So that's it for today, guys. I want to thank you very much for joining me. Please look after each other, stay safe, and I shall see you back in the cave really soon for another video. So have a good day, everyone. Bye for now.